Welcome once again, CHM members. Really excited to talk to you today again about HealthiestYou, your virtual healthcare benefit. This benefit is going to be available to you and your family members that are also part of CHM. So if you and your family members are part of the Christian Healthcare Ministries membership, you will also have access into HealthiestYou. HealthiestYou is really here to be your front door to accessing the healthcare system. And what you're going to see when Maya goes through this demo is that using the services is not difficult at all. Very easy to access our mobile app, very user-friendly once you're actually engaging in the mobile app. Maybe the bigger hurdle that you could face is just changing your behavior to think about virtual care first. But let's dive in and take a look at what is HealthiestYou. Starting there, HealthiestYou, as mentioned, is your front door to accessing the healthcare system. One of the easiest ways to think about it is really like a virtual urgent care. Like the benefit is traveling with you all over the country, and everything you're going to be doing is from the smartphone or right from our member website. It gets you connected with board certified physicians in all 50 states, 24/7, 365. So no matter if you're traveling, no matter if you're in a different state, or if it's Christmas and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, we're going to get you connected with a provider in that state so that they can help you with your needs. You're also going to have access to dermatology, mental health, and nutrition services. Those services are going to require some visit fees, which we'll take a look at here in just a moment. But the general medical, your 24/7, 365 service, that's going to have no visit fees anytime you use the service. You'll only be required to pay for the prescription if one is written by one of our providers. So looking into the different pieces of the benefit here in just a moment, but starting with how do you get to those benefits? As we mentioned, we are an app-based service, so I highly recommend using our mobile app in almost all situations. Maya's going to take you through that here in a minute. She's going to show you some of the tips and tricks to that, like uploading pictures maybe in place of a video visit. You can also use our member website as well by visiting member.healthiestYou.com. The member website works really, really well. And I will say that in some cases, you may be able to access that website from your smartphone. So if you prefer a website over the mobile app, I would highly suggest our mobile app from a mobile device, but your smartphone may support it. Most do not. Mine does not. So I would highly recommend, if you're using our website, to use that from a desktop or a laptop computer. We do also have a 24/7, 365 hotline, that 866 number you see below. You can request general medical visits from that hotline, but the specialty services, nutrition, dermatology, mental health, those must go through one of the portals. And as I said, you'll see here in just a moment when Maya goes through the presentation, you're going to prefer that. The portals are very, very easy to use. That hotline is there for customer service questions as well. So throughout the day and into the night, 24/7, 365, those customer service teams are there to help you in case you have questions about your prescription or maybe didn't receive a doctor's note that you were expecting for one of your kids who needed that excuse note from school or from their sport. So that hotline is there for you 24/7, 365. But again, the mobile app and the website are the way to go. And you're going to see that here in a moment, just how easy and convenient those are. So getting into the benefits themselves, general medical. So as I mentioned, you can really think of this as your 24/7, 365 urgent care. Things like cold, flu, pink eye, strep throat, sinus infection, UTI, ear infection, all those different things and so much more than what you see on this screen here. As I mentioned, this is going to connect you with a board certified physician in whatever state you're requesting a visit from. If you get poison ivy, we want you connecting with a doctor that's familiar with poison ivy and not somewhere across the country that's maybe never treated or dealt with that before. One of the most convenient and best parts of our benefit is the fact that it travels with you. I have used this benefit while sitting in the Phoenix airport and said that I was requesting a visit from Colorado. I was getting ready to fly to Colorado. So saying I was in Colorado to request that visit got me connected with a board certified physician in Colorado, and I was able to pick up my prescription as soon as I landed. So you'll always want to request a visit from the state that you plan to pick up your prescription in if one is written. Next up, we're going to take a look at the mental health services. So as I mentioned, the mental health services do have visit fees, which you can see outlined on the top right-hand side. As you can also see, they are different for psychiatrists versus therapists, psychologists, or counselors, and that's just because of the clinical nature of the practice. Different than general medical, the mental health services are scheduled into the future. So you're actually going to be choosing a date and time with the provider that you select. You can choose to see a list of all the providers we have available, or we can help you find one, which again, Maya is going to show you in more detail here in a moment. And once you establish that connection with the provider, you'll choose a date and time on their calendar to connect with them. And at the close of your visit, they will offer to schedule follow-up visits with you at the close of the call. That way, you don't always have to go through the visit request flow, and you can maintain your relationship with the same provider. If you do choose to change providers at any time, you're more than welcome to do that. Just know you'll have to go back through the visit request flow each time you change providers and fill out the questionnaires. Again, these visits do require visit fees, and the main key point to take from mental health is that unfortunately, it is only available to members age 18 and up at this time. So your dependents who are CHM members can use it if they are 18 and up. We are working very passionately and very hard to change that, but there is such a shortage of providers in the adolescent space. It has been a challenge, but we're working very hard to make sure that we get adolescent care released to the market as soon as possible. But for now, again, mental health services are only available to members age 18 and up. The additional services do not have any age restrictions associated with them. Dermatology is also available, and it is one of my favorite services because it is so easy and convenient to use. Here in Arizona, where Maya and I live, it takes us about 8 weeks to get into a dermatologist in most cases. With our dermatology service, the provider is responding to you right through our message center within 48 business hours. You actually don't do a phone call or a video call with dermatology. You simply upload some pictures, you answer some questions about the condition, and the provider responds to you right through our message center. Not only is it incredibly convenient, it's incredibly accurate. I can share a personal story that our dermatology services were able to correct a misdiagnosis where I was diagnosed with psoriasis about 4 years ago. I started working for Teledoc and HealthiestYou, and the dermatologist responded to me within 4 hours of submitting my visit request to let me know that I did not have psoriasis. I have a more mild condition called seborrheic dermatitis. So that kind of speaks to the clinical quality with our services. You're always speaking to highly trained, highly qualified providers across all of the different services who are credentialed to be able to practice in person, as well as specific training for telemedicine. So you can always be confident in the providers that you're speaking with when using the Teledoc Health Network. You and your family who are CHM members will also have access to nutrition. Nutrition is one of my favorite services because you don't have to be sick to use it. It's an opportunity for proactive instead of reactive healthcare, and it gets you connected with state licensed dietitians. So not just a general nutritionist. These dietitians go to school and have far more credentials than what a general nutritionist would have. So they can help you with things like post-op and pre-op diets. Maybe you have a chronic condition that specifies what diets you have to be on. Like me personally with weight loss goals, or sometimes maybe weight gain goals. I've seen parents use this for their high school athletes that are looking to take the next step in their respective sports. So no matter what your nutrition goals or needs are, get connected with one of our dietitians. It's going to work similar to mental health, where you're actually scheduling a visit out into the future with one of those providers, and you can have as many ongoing visits as you need. Maybe you want to do a full-on meal plan. Maybe you want to dial it back and just do a grocery list so that you can put your own meals together. However in-depth or high level you would like to go, the providers will meet you there and get you on track. This is one of my favorite services that we have had. I really enjoyed using it. So if you have any interest or any specific nutrition goals, I highly recommend you give this a try. For you, or again, any of your dependents who are also CHM members will have access into this benefit. Really quickly, would like to just highlight one more time our visit fees across the different services, keeping in mind that general medical is a completely free visit. Anytime you or your family members who have access to HealthiestYou use the general medical portion of the benefit, you will not ever be charged when doing that. Again, you will just be responsible for the cost of that prescription. The mental health visit fees with psychiatry, you do have a $220 initial medical evaluation, which is required for psychiatrists when evaluating a patient for the first time. And then each follow-up visit beyond that would be at that $100 price. Any psychologist, therapist, counselor, social worker who are not a clinical psychiatrist would be $90 per visit, and you do not have that initial evaluation. The dermatology visit fees are at $85 per visit, so each time you need to use dermatology, again, you will just submit through the mobile app and the provider will respond to you through the message center, and you will have an $85 visit fee. Nutrition visit fees with the dietitians come in at $59 per consultation, and again, you will pay that all right through the mobile app or through the website. You'll be prompted to enter a credit card when requesting those different visits. So with that, we're going to take just a second here to transition the presentation over to my good friend Maya, and she's going to take us through some of the mobile app features and just show you how easy it is to use HealthiestYou. So Maya, I'm going to go ahead and disable my screen share for now, and we'll get the presentation shifted over to you, and I'm going to check and see if we have any questions we want to address before we jump into the actual app demo. So we'll give you just a second here to get everything ready to rock and roll. And Maya, can you hear me okay? Everything coming through for you?
Yes, I can. Thanks, Kevin.
Absolutely. Here, we'll get you the presentation, and you should have that now. And then a quick look.
And before I get started, I do want to make sure, Kevin, that you can see my screen.
Yep, absolutely. It's looking good.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the introduction, Kevin, and for going through those PowerPoint slides. You did a great job, as always. And thank you, everybody, for your time today. I really appreciate it. As Kevin mentioned, you do have access to our HealthiestYou member website, which is member.healthiestYou.com. You also have access to our mobile app. If you search HealthiestYou, all one word, in your Google Play Store or App Store, you will locate our app, which looks just like that blue and white circle at the top of my screen here with the HY in the center. Now, for those of you that are CHM members, dependents included, anybody over the age of 18 is required to register their own account. So what that means is that's giving you access to our app and website. No matter which platform you use to register, you will have access to both. So if I'm registering today on the app and I'm setting up my login credentials, I can use those same login credentials for the website and vice versa. So to get registered, at the bottom of your app, you'll see this first time here register button. You can choose on this screen that you are receiving your benefits through my employer or other, either one will work. From here, you and your dependents will need to enter in the primary account holder's last name, date of birth, and zip code. And I will show you what this looks like here. So when you click next, you and your dependents will appear here on this screen. For anybody over the age of 18 that has filled out or registered their account, you will see next to their name that their profile has been completed. So for John, for example, for the sake of this demo, his profile is being completed. He's already registered on the HealthiestYou app. His spouse, Kelly, is not registered. So if I click on Kelly's name and click next, it will have me put in my email address, set up a password. Once I fill this out and click next, it'll ask for my best contact phone number, and then you'll accept the terms and conditions and submit it. That is all that you have to do to register your account. It is super easy. For any of you with dependents under the age of 18, because they are a minor, they require a parent or legal guardian to initiate that consultation. So you do not need to register your minor's account. You as the primary account holder can just log into your app or website and initiate a consultation on their behalf. Now I am going to log into my account here and show you one of the other steps that I like to take when registering my account. So I personally recommend setting up your account ahead of time and not waiting until you're sick or need to use the services. to do that. And the reason being is when you're sick, the last thing you want to worry about is setting up your account. So if you're all set up and ready to go ahead of time, you will be set up for success. One other thing aside from registering that I highly recommend doing in advance is filling out your medical history. To do that, in the top right corner of your app, you'll see this circle with a question mark. And from this drop-down menu, you'll go to the tab there labeled Medical Info. From here, you will see your name and any minors that are tied to your account, and so, or part of the CHM members. And from here, you can click on whoever's name to fill out their medical history and set up their preferred pharmacies. So for your medical history questions, these are the same questions you would typically see on the clipboard at the doctor's office. Things like what medications are you on, what allergies do you have, and down below you can fill out any health problems and your family history as well. This is required to be filled out prior to using any one of our services. So again, I recommend filling this out ahead of time so you don't have to worry about it when you're not feeling well. Once you save it the first time, you don't have to worry about it again unless something changes. You're always welcome to go back in here and update it as needed. One other thing that I would recommend filling out ahead of time is your preferred pharmacies. I personally like to put one pharmacy by my job or by my office and one by my house, so you can set up multiple pharmacies here. These will essentially serve as like your favorite pharmacies, so when you request a visit, these will auto-populate for you so you don't have to search for them every single time you use the services. Now going back to your dashboard here, to access the 4 services that Kevin mentioned, you will click into Request a Visit Now. From here, it does want to know, are you requesting a visit for yourself or your underage dependent? And then it does want to know what state you're calling from. So just as Kevin mentioned, we travel with you if you're on vacation and your little one happens to get sick while away from home. You can choose the state that you're in at that time, and we will connect you with a provider that's licensed in that state. So in the event they need to prescribe medication to treat your illness, for example, they will be able to send it to a pharmacy near you at that time. So while away from home, not only can you get the health care that you need, but you can also pick up your medications right away and start taking them before you even head back home. So hopefully you're feeling much better before your vacation is even over. From here, you'll see the different options for the services. I will go through each one and kind of show you what the flow looks like. So for general medical, the first thing it wants to know is, do you want to connect with one of our board certified MDs by phone or by video call? This is 100% a personal preference thing. They both work great. From here, it will show your current estimated wait time. Now, typically, our average wait time to hear back from one of our doctors is about 15 minutes or so. We are currently in the heavy cold and flu season, and with the spike in COVID cases as well, you can imagine our estimated wait time is a little bit longer than normal. So this will always update for you on a day-to-day basis. From here, it does want you to put in your best contact phone number. This is the phone number the provider will try to reach you on. So one thing with that, I always try to emphasize here, because if you're like me, I never answer calls from numbers I don't recognize, let alone a blocked caller or an unknown number. So if that's the case and you are like me, just know that the provider will try to reach you from a number you will not recognize, and sometimes it does actually come through as an unknown caller or a blocked call. So the doctor will try to reach you, and any of our providers will try to reach you up to 3 times. If they cannot get a hold of you in those 3 attempts, they will cancel your request. So whenever I personally use these services, I am sure to answer every phone call that comes through after I submit this request so that I don't have to miss that phone call. From here, you'll choose the reason for your visit. If you are female, you will get asked if you're currently pregnant and then your last menstrual cycle. Put this in here quickly. And then down below, you have the option of uploading photos if you do a regular phone call, not a video call, and maybe you're calling about pink eye for your kid, and you want the doctor to see that eye. So you can upload photos. You don't have to do a video call if you don't want to. Just know that this is an option for those of you that prefer just a regular phone conversation. It will have you choose your best pharmacy. So as you may have noticed, this is the pharmacy that I had saved as my preferred pharmacy. I can technically just click on it and move forward if I want to, but if I am traveling and I need to pick up my prescriptions somewhere else just this one time, I can search by current location, zip code, or city and state. When I'm traveling personally, I prefer current locations just because it's a lot easier. Half the time I don't know the zip code that I'm in on vacation. So this will actually locate where I am and pull up all the pharmacies in my area. So I don't have to do any research on my end to locate a pharmacy. You will need to enable your location settings. So just know if you want to take advantage of this to enable the locations. And just to show you what it looks like when you are traveling, it'll pull up a map view, and then you can click on these little drop pins. Otherwise, you can tap on list, and it will actually show you all the pharmacies in order from closest to farthest. Your final confirmation page is a great time for you to review that the information is correct. Make sure you didn't accidentally mistype your phone number. You will see here that there is no cost for your general medical visit. You'll answer this one question, which is where would you have gone without HealthiestYou? And then you'll accept the terms and conditions down below and submit that request. So that is our general medical flow. Now going back here, I'm going to walk you through our mental health services. With mental health, we do have some precautionary measures in place for those that may be slightly more at risk. First one being is this emergency contact. So let me just go in here and put in some emergency contact phone number. And then let's see, cell phone. There we go. From here, you'll enter in the time zone that you'll be in at the time of your call. And then it's going to give you two options. You will need to pick the provider that you want to connect with. If maybe you need a little bit more guidance or assistance in picking your provider, you can say, great, let's get started. It will ask you a series of 5 questions, and based on your responses to these questions, it will auto-filter that provider list to best meet your needs. If you don't want to go this route, you can go back and just choose no thanks, see all providers down below. What this will do is it will actually pull up a full list of providers that are licensed in your state. You can manually filter this list in the top right corner here. So if you have a specialty preference, a language preference, if you only want to see a list of psychiatrists, you can filter that list accordingly. Through here, you'll scroll down and you can read through each of these providers' profile to learn more about their credentials, where they studied. There's usually a little about me section, so you can really get comfortable with that therapist or provider that you will be connecting with. Once you choose the provider that you'd like to connect with, it will have you answer this one question, which is the reason for your visit. Again, you can choose a phone call or a video call, personal preference, totally up to you. And then down below, you'll actually have full visibility into the provider's calendar. So you can click through here and you'll notice the times at the bottom will change. So if one of these days and times works for you, you can select one and then move forward. Now, if you happen to come across a provider who is maybe not sharing their calendar, what the app or the website will have you do is actually choose 3 different days and times that work best for you. Within 72 hours or less, that provider will respond to your request by either accepting one of your proposed times, or they may suggest a different time if they are already booked at those times. So I personally recommend trying to find a provider that is sharing their calendar, which again will look something like this here. From here, you'll fill out this emotional health questionnaire that consists of about 23 questions or so. I won't spend a lot of time here, but I do want to scroll through and show you question 11. So question 11 does ask if you've ever had thoughts of actually hurting yourself. For any of you that select light to severe on number 11, when you click next, a prompt will appear and it will advise that you contact suicide prevention. You can still move forward with requesting your visit. However, again, this is one of those precautionary measures that we have in place for those that are a little bit more at risk. If you choose none, you'll move forward and you won't get prompted with that suicide prevention. From there, you'll get to your final confirmation page, or actually you'll confirm your callback number, and then you'll get to your confirmation page. You will see that there is a visit fee for the mental health services, just depending on which one you chose, whether it's a psychiatrist or one of our counselors or therapists or psychologists. And then at that final confirmation page, you can pay for that visit there. Now, going back to the options for services, I'm going to go through the flow for dermatology. As Kevin mentioned, I personally also love this one. It's always been very convenient for me personally, but also it's very straightforward and very easy to navigate. Now, it does tell you at the bottom, a little prompt will appear that says you are not connecting with a dermatologist by phone or video call. So this is just to let you know that this is not a phone or video consultation. So you'll just click, yes, I understand. You'll want to fill out your dermatology history. If none of these apply, you don't have to click any of them. And then from here, you'll choose the skin condition that you're seeking care for. I'm going to say acne for the sake of this demo, but from here, you'll just fill out the information regarding your skin condition. When you click next, it'll take you to your camera roll, or you can snap a photo, a live photo right there on the spot. You will be required to upload a minimum of 3 photos. And then once you submit your request for dermatology, the provider will upload your treatment plan within 2 business days or less into your message center, which is on your dashboard. So I will show you where that is after I show you what the nutrition flow looks like. So going back, we're going to go through the flow for nutrition. Now for nutrition, again, first thing it wants to know is the time zone that you'll be in at the time of your call. You can, again, choose a phone or a video consultation, just depending on your preference. You'll, just like the mental health flow, you'll be able to scroll through and read through the profiles of these registered dietitians so you can find somebody that is the best fit for you. And then same rules apply. You'll be able to click into their calendar and see if there's a good day and time that works for you. From here, when you click on continue, it'll ask you some questions about your day-to-day routine. So, are you taking any dietary supplements? What's your daily food intake like? How often do you exercise? And so on. From there, when you do connect with your dietitian, they will be able to work with you to put together a plan to help you accomplish and meet your goals. Now, going back to your dashboard, the dermatologist and any of our providers that maybe send a notification of some sort, it will appear in your message center right below that request a visit now button. So from here, you'll be able to see these are the types of messages that you'll get in your message center. If you do have a dermatology visit and they upload your treatment plan, they will also list any kind of diagnosis, and you'll see the medication name listed there, so you'll know that they sent in that specific prescription to the pharmacy of your choice. Now, one thing with our dermatology services, because you are not connecting by phone or video call, you will have the ability to send the dermatologist any follow-up questions up to 7 days after your visit, and you will do that through your message center as well. So I personally highly advise all of you to keep your notifications turned on for your HealthiestYou app, as some of these messages can sometimes be a little bit time sensitive. So I don't like to leave any of my messages just kind of hanging there unread. I always make sure to go through this and make sure that they're all taken care of or looked at least. Now from here, you will see on your dashboard, you have access to some of our other tools and features here, all related to healthcare. I won't spend a lot of time, but I do want to, recommend that you play around with this a little bit. And one that I do want to go through is this price prescriptions tool at the top here. What this does is it kind of serves as like a GoodRx, if you've ever heard of GoodRx. What it does is it allows you to cost compare your medications, and it does that across all of your local pharmacies. So if, let's say, I'm looking for amoxicillin, this will pull up a list of pharmacies within, let's say, like a 5-mile radius or within a particular zip code, and it will tell you how much that medication costs. Off to the right, it does go in order from cheapest to more expensive as you scroll down. And that is a cash price with the discount card. Now, to access this discount card, let's say I want to go to this CVS for $6, that discount card is right there at the top for you. If you have an iPhone, you can add it to your Apple Wallet. A barcode will appear, and then they can just quickly scan that barcode. But this allows you to kind of cost compare your medications and just make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck. I believe that covers everything as far as the app goes. So I'm going to open up the floor to you all for any questions.
Awesome. Maya, thank you so much for running through that. We actually have been able to get to a majority of the questions over the chat while you were running through some of the app demo, and there are still a fair amount of questions out there that I know we have not had a chance to address, and questions are coming in fairly quickly here today. So if your question has not been answered through the question box or through the chat, we are going to respond to you back via email directly. So look out for an email from us answering the questions that you all submitted if your question has not yet been answered. So at this time, we'd like to thank you all again so much for joining us today. The recording, again, will be shared by CHM soon. So once we get that out to everybody, that link will be provided by them, we imagine, within the next couple of days. So thank you all again so much. We greatly appreciate your time. We don't wish illness or hardship on anybody, but we hope that HealthiestYou can be there for you and your family when you need it. So thank you again, everybody. Take care and have a great day.
Thank you.